Guys, it's like late at night over here, and Overwatch just dropped a new patch, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. It is the patch notes for September 3rd, 2024. Starting us off in tank, and wow, it's the only tank. Really surprised not to see Diva over here. It's Winston. Winston's Tesla cannon has been nerfed. Damage per second reduced from 75 to 70. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I've been saying Winston is actually really strong. So the fact that they didn't address his survivability but went for the damage instead is okay. I don't think this is gonna make Winston bad. I think Winston is actually a very good hero pick right now, just in general with the game state and the meta and how the game is kind of flowing. So like this is a good slap on the wrist. I think this is also considering most likely the health pool changes, so this should help him. This will definitely help him, and thank God it'll make the Reaper versus Winston matchup actually feel like, you know, the Winston cannot pressure the Reaper more than the Reaper can pressure Winston. So this is a nice change. I really like this. So this is good, but honestly, like, where is Diva? Diva should be here. Okay, damn it. So Ash is getting nerfed or buffed. Wait, Ash Viper reload per bullet increase from 0.2 to 0.25 seconds, and the primary fire damage has been reduced from 40 to 35. So wow. So I believe this change to Ash is to really tone down her power level in terms of how she's interacting with 225. But see, this is kind of awkward because like not everybody is 225, and you know, when you're kind of changing these breakpoints, it's also kind of changing how characters are interacting with like other characters like tanks, armor, characters with 250 plus HP. Like Reaper has 300 HP. If Reaper's not down here, I'm gonna be surprised. I've not seen it yet. So let's see who's next. Oh, Sombra. Okay, this is, look, I think the entire community fundamentally agreed that this was a disaster. And yeah, okay. So virus damage over time has been reduced from 90 to 75. Arguably, I would have liked to see this at 80. Now, before you come for my head, hear me out. The problem with the meta right now as well is Widowmaker is becoming a little bit too strong. Her ability to have an impact on the game is getting much better. I'm going to talk about her a lot more in depth in an upcoming rant video. But the problem is that Sombra is one of the few characters that can keep her in check, and Sombra does a good job of also keeping Diva pressured and in check. The problem with Sombra being nerfed over here is, while I do believe this was deserved and I was calling for a virus nerf, that it was a disaster waiting to happen, they didn't revert her speed buff, which is like fine. She can have the speed so she can set up faster, but the virus being reverted is, God, it feels so awkward not to have Widowmaker or Diva somewhere in here. Like they could definitely mess around with those two characters and change up the way the game is kind of feeling. Otherwise, I think balance is actually heading in a pretty damn good direction. Again, all they need to do is address the state of armor. Like if they can seriously address armor, I think we're going into a really good patch. Again, they have to be careful. They're slowly working their way to a good position, but the problem is once they get there, they just flip the switch and it all falls apart. Again, so far, good change, good change, good change. I think it's missing some heroes. Again, would have liked to see, we can ignore Widow for now, you know, but definitely in tank, Diva needed to be here. And again, arguably, in my opinion, Zarya needed to be in here. I think people are kind of sleeping on Zarya and how good she is. Also, Orisa's kind of back. And again, with maybe if Dive really does kind of slowly fade out of the game, and Orisa and Zarya meta could be on the horizon, don't sleep on it. And you heard it from me first. Support, oh God, please don't tell me they nerf Juno. And that's it, there's no other characters. So support Meta Blaster fire rate has been increased from 14.3 to 15.5. Okay, that's pretty good. So reverted to the 34 shots per second during the projectile war. So she's actually shooting out more, and then the damage has gone down to 7.5 and the healing has gone down to 6.5. So this is compensation. Basically, she's still doing the same thing, but it should help her feel better in the game because she'll be shooting out more of her projectile volley, like the little shots that she shoots out. So because of that, it will feel better and it will feel like her healing has an impact. Like Juno's not bad, Juno's not good, she's okay. So this is like really not a bad change. I think this is good, and I like Juno. I think she's the most honest support we've ever gotten. She really is the best character we've gotten in Overwatch 2's lifespan. So really love her, really like playing her as well. So really good change. I look forward to trying these out. Again, really upset that 𝐒𝐈𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐑 is not in here. I think they have made up their mind that they do not want to address pylon, and I'm not a fan of that. And on the side note, like, 𝐒𝐈𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐑 is bearable as long as she's not being played with Baptiste, but when Bap is on the same comp as her, it becomes a nightmare. And I think, like, when you have two supports that are almost near uncontestable, if they both are really good at what they're doing, it can feel like a nightmare. So in support, I would have liked to see Bap or 𝐒𝐈𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐑, or Bap in particular. In damage, I would have definitely an extra inclusion would have been Widowmaker and how we approach her, and then on tank, D.Va should have been in here. Outside of that, I think the game is relatively fine. There's some bug fixes in here that there's, if you guys want to look at it, just check it out. Oh, they fixed the Doomfist Bass skin. For those of you that didn't know, it had a skin texture problem. If you viewed the skin, it looked like a mess, and oh, look at that, that looks clean. So again, my final thoughts on this set of patch notes is the following. I'm going to kind of briefly run over the state of every hero and which characters, in my opinion, might need a change. So D.Va definitely needs a nerf in the armor department. There's no going around it. You can increase her HP bar, but reduce her armor. It's like, she's very strong. And the fact that Winston took a nerf, but she didn't, is crazy, because now, like, the matchup is favoring D.Va again, and Winston's gonna struggle killing her. Even though Winston does ignore armor, I don't think they're aware to that. So I don't know. D.Va not being nerfed is weird. Doomfist is fine. He's suffering from armor. Like, he sucks against armor. Outside of that, he's fine. Queen, same case, same scenario. 𝐒𝐈𝐓𝐿, same thing. Like, he has his niche. He's fine. Leave him alone. Orisa might be on the horizon. I think Orisa is legitimately one or few more changes away to the rest of the game, or to herself, from entering the meta. She's almost there. Ramattra is pretty fair and balanced. Reinhardt, fair and balanced. I love these two. I think these two are by far the middle ground of what tanks should be like, and feel like they all have their playmaking moments and they don't do anything over the top. I like both Ram and Ryan, so very happy about their current state. Roadhog as well is one of those characters like Queen, Doom, and 𝐒𝐈𝐓𝐿. He's okay. He has his niche. He fills it, and he has to stay in that lane. Sigma is Sigma. Not much to say. Winston, he's I think he'll be fine. I don't think the nerf is that crazy to him. It'll just help against the 225 HP characters that may be getting melted by him too fast, because Winston, dive on Juno or Kiri must have eradicated their HP bars. So definitely Winston need the nerf, especially since he has AoE damage as well. Wrecking Ball is in an okay state. He suffers from the entire armor situation. Ball I could talk about for a long time, but it does seem like they are leaving Ball as is. Sadly, it is what it is for Wrecking Ball players. Zarya, okay, so look, my over exaggeration about Zarya aside, I don't think Zarya is inherently at that point right now where she's OP, but with things getting nerfed and things getting changed, there is a point where, again, just like Orisa, we're almost there where Zarya could be meta relevant. So this is something like, I've been eyeing Orisa and Zarya where I'm like, I feel like we're getting there slowly. So that's just my opinion. Rest of that damage, Ashe is fine, Bastion's fine, Cass is fine, Echo's fine. Genji needs a buff, but I don't think he's ever gonna get it. Hanzo's much better than before, could use more changes, but whatever, he's okay, I guess. But again, Genji, Hanzo definitely could use some changes to help them out a little bit. Junkrat's actually surprisingly very good right now, in my opinion. He's okay as is, has a niche, fills it pretty okay. The niche right now, have to kind of keep it that way. Far is okay, kind of fell back to her usual self of being good on her maps, being okay on other maps. Reaper is very strong. I think definitely think Reaper is the best DPS right now. Maybe it's just my opinion. I think Reaper is by far one of the best DPS on ladder and quick play. Pro play is obviously something else, so I'm not going to be considering it since that's legitimately for the 0.1% of players. But for the rest of us, Reaper is a pretty damn good pick. Torb is pretty good. Sim is decent on her map. Sombra, I think Sombra will be fine. Like, Sombra is okay. She'll be fine. Soldier 76 needs help and a buff. Sojourn as well. Still, I believe both of them need help and buffs. They're struggling against new armor, and it's just that, like, they're struggling. Tracer is fine, Venture is fine, Widowmaker is actually OP, Ana's fine, Bap is needing nerfs, Brig is fine, 𝐒𝐈𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐑 Pylon needs nerfs, not 𝐒𝐈𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐑 herself. Juno is fine, looking forward to trying out her new patch. 𝐒𝐒𝐿 is okay and fine too. Lifeweaver is fine, Lucio is fine, Mercy's fine, Morga's damage needs to get reverted, otherwise she's fine. Zenyatta is also pretty good. So that's my opinion. At the moment, I do have to see and feel out this patch, and let's see how the overall game feels. But Overwatch is going in a good direction. Let's hope and pray that they stay in this area. Look, realistically speaking, I think the game can actually feel really good if all they do is change how armor feels and nerf it just a little bit. They don't have to overdo it. They just have to nerf it a little bit, and I actually feel like the game will be well, you know, like 5v5 will still always have its problems, but at least it can be tolerable to the point that you can have fun. Because that's kind of what I want for 5v5 until we get to 6v6, is be tolerable enough that I can have fun. So that being said, everybody, what are your thoughts on the patch? Let me know in the comment sections down below. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.